Today I bring you one of my most requested videos so far at this point in the game. That is going to be the meta 4-2-3-1 that averages a 98% win rate. Let's get into the video. So we are going to have 4 teams today, starting off with the powerhouse. I do want to quickly say, if you do enjoy the videos, please do leave a like and be sure to subscribe to the channel. And thank you guys, we've just got over 15k, so let's crack on to 20k, shall we? But let's start off with Bayern Munich. Obviously, they are going to be the real powerhouse of this video, and they're here for a reason. I mean, we nearly actually picked up a perfect 34 out of 34 wins. But unfortunately, we did draw one game against Union Berlin in a 1-1 game at home as well. A little bit disappointing, but still a very, very almost flawless season, picking up 100 Bundesliga points. Harry Kane coming in with 27 goals. Joshua Kimmich, of all people, coming in with 30 assists. And obviously Thomas Müller picking up the highest average match rating. We also did win the quadruple. We'd love to see that as well. The Champions League against Manchester City, so a very tough final there. The Pokal against HSV, and also the Super Cup against RB Leipzig, so a very good standard quadruple as well. We scored 114 league goals, conceded just 23, and actually picked up 0 red cards, and nearly also ranked best with yellow cards, only picking up 33 in the season. We are going to feature a lot in the team stats as well. Most points per game at 2.94, most goals at 114, dominant over everybody else as well. Most shots at 645, fewer shots against at 218. Possession, not the best, but definitely up there, 58%, so 1% behind Bayer Leverkusen, who obviously play that style all the time, and also the most clean sheets and fewest conceded at a very low 23. Now, in terms of the squad, we're going to be seeing exactly what I like to be seeing, a variety of goal scorers. 27, 24, 21, 17, 16, 15, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, obviously easily with 10 plus goals in the season. Then a few players contributing with 6s and 5s, so very good to see majority of, everyone getting involved scoring the goals, and it's exactly the same for the assists. Now, Joshua Kimmich had probably the best Bayern Munich season I've ever seen in my life, to give him credit, but still, we had players such as Sane, 16 from Müller, Musiala with 12, 11 for Goretzka, even Kane contributing as well, alongside of some of the fullbacks, so it is really good to see that everyone does get involved, and usually this does happen with a 4-2-3-1, but I like to say, and I'm confident in saying, this is by far one of the best jobs I've done in building a system where you can rely on every player. Now, going over to the data hub, it's going to be 3.35 goals a game, a very low 0.68 conceded, so way under a goal a game. Getting on for 19 shots a game as well, coming in at 18.97, nearly a 90% pass completion, and a 76.7 tackle win ratio. Up next, we're going to go completely on the opposite scale. We're going to go to Shrewsbury Town, a team predicted to finish in 19th place inside of Sky Bet League 1, and we have come out and actually got automatic promotion. We've won the league by 3 points over Oxford. Now, I will say, I didn't actually change the way I'm going to be playing this tactic, so I went in with a very attacking style as this tactic is. I will be talking about during that tactic breakdown how you should play a bit more confidently if you are using a smaller team. So, to be honest with you, we simply outscored. We were the best in the league, even though we had 19th place predicted standard of players. We outscored everyone. 108 goals. We did concede a fair few goals, but to be honest with you, it really didn't matter because we were absolutely flying at putting the ball in the back of the net. But I will be talking about how to make a more balanced sort of variant with this in a lot of detail. But fair play to Tom coming in with 26 goals, because that's a fantastic season. We can look at the data hub as well, and we nearly got to the point where we were scoring, obviously, 1 goal more bang on to what we were conceding, but we outscored what the goals we were conceding, so it's not really a big issue. Also getting a lot of shots off per game, nearly 16 to be exact. We maintained a very good pass completion, and that tackle win ratio I believe to be higher, 78.33, so a very good stat line there as well. Then we go back to a very decent standard of team. That is going to obviously be Athens. Now, this team is obviously one of the best in their league, but what made this really, really tempting to actually bring to you guys is the fact that it just shows never give up, because we got absolutely done over in the Champions League, to be honest. Not the best in Europa League, and I feel like we weren't really the standard of team to be competing in those, but we do win the Conference League as well, against Aston Villa, which is a very, very tough team to play in a final. We also win the Greek Super League and the Greek Cup. We scored 97 league goals and only conceded 33, so this team and this tactic obviously can perform at a very high level. I just feel like the Champions League and Europa League a bit too much in the first season, but to do the treble in the first season with no signings, sensational. We are actually going to see a bit of possession coming in as well, and this is why I always say to you guys, the stats do differ, not just based off the teams you're playing as, but the leagues as well, because some leagues you can find it very easy to dominate the ball because no other team does it, and as you can see right here, we had 63% of the ball for a tactic which isn't really designed to even have real big levels of possession. So you can do it in certain leagues, just to show you guys that element as well. And this stat line here, we're always dominating. The most shots for, we take it every time. The data hub, very, very good indeed. 2.69 goals a game, basically 2.7. Still way under a goal a game at 0.92. Getting on for 20 shots a game, exactly 19.36. An 89% pass completion, and a very consistent, well-rounded 78% tackle win ratio. Now, this proves I read the comments because I always see, Josh, you need to test with mid-table Premier League teams, and obviously that is literally the hardest test to do because in this game it's very hard to get results with that standard of team, and I feel like we pulled it off quite well. This team predicted to finish inside of 12th place. We have come out in the first season with no sign-ins as well, just to clarify that, and we have picked up a last spot Europa Conference League place, and to be fair, we were only a few points, or literally the same points, into getting in Europa League, but obviously the goal difference, we can't compete with Newcastle, we've not got the squad, we've not got the money. So this does also prove it literally works with any standard of team in the game, whether it be a powerhouse, a sort of real bottom of the pile Shrewsbury side, or a mid-table team where you guys need to step in, make some signings, and really mould that tactic. The stat lines aren't going to look that attractive because we had no money to spend, and, you know, to be honest with you, I only sort of play half the games and simulate the rest. So if you guys were actually playing yourselves, you possibly could have even got into that top 6 quite easy. But for a first season, a settle-in season with Palace, I'm not going to complain. And I will show you this side of the tactic as well, because we can beat the best teams in the league. We beat Manchester City, believe it or not, in a 2-1 win, and we actually got off to a very, very rocky start, as it is going to be Erling Haaland going through and tucking it in the back of the net. And usually, when you go 1-0 down to City, that's the game done. When you're a Palace team, it is a very, very high chance the game is done. But with this tactic, we really didn't. To be fair, I did switch to the attack and variant at this stage of the game because I wanted to go for it. And maybe in that goal there, Ederson could have done a little bit better. But the fact we've actually turned this game around just shows how good the tactic is. Eze again, great ball inside, into Edouard, and we've got to take a 2-1 win any day. And to be honest, a very similar thing happened against Liverpool. Obviously, this was a little bit earlier on into the season. We get the first goal, it's a little bit scrappy, but we've got to take it. It's going to be Jeffrey Schlupp coming in inside of 56 minutes. Liverpool do get an equaliser with Cody Gakpo. I remember this one going in. It is going to be Gakpo, there we are. But we do get a little bit of luck. We get a penalty given to us, but just to show you, a 2-1 win, even against Liverpool away. And of course, the other end of the scale. How does this tactic perform against the Giants when you're playing as a Giant? It absolutely demolishes them. A 4-0 win over Manchester City in the Champions League final. Yes, a couple of goals are going to be from pens and obviously set pieces, but every goal does count, and the fact we didn't even concede against this, well, let's just face it, ridiculous City team speaks levels for how consistent this tactic really is, as that goal is actually going to be quite an attractive one to look at. I feel Ederson there possibly thought we were going into the right-hand side. Sane catches his old team off guard and gets a very easy goal there. They're going to attempt to play out from the back. We are going to see a lot of pressure being put on there. Gnabry gets the fourth, a very comfortable final. Of course, now it is going to be time to break down the tactic, and now it is also the perfect time to leave a like on the video and be sure to subscribe. And if you enjoyed the videos, come over to the Twitch. You can see it on the screen right now. We are basically live every single day, and we are going to be live after you've seen this video. Magic from the future. We are going to be live, so definitely come over and say hello tonight. But let's go over and break down the 4-2-3-1 meta. So we are going to kick things off with a sweeper keeper, who is simply going to be on the supportive duty, which is nice and simple to follow. A wingback on the right is going to be on automatic, a little bit different to my other tactics. Automatic's a great role. Basically, he does a little bit of everything. Defending, supporting, and attacking. However, we are going to have dribble more and run wide with the ball. Essentially, dribble more just gets him really stuck in those attacks. And you saw as well, we didn't concede that many goals apart from Shrewsbury, of course, so you can play this way, but if you are playing as a real top team, it might be worth to obviously unselect that and go a little bit more cautiously. Two ball playing defenders both on the default, so I won't waste your time there, and the wingback on the left is not going to have dribble more on, but is going to have run wide with the ball. Now, I will say, this is purely based on if you've got a better left back or a better right back at going forward. So if you've got a really good left back at attacking, you would simply have the instruction of dribble more not on the left-hand side and not on the right, because either side is obviously very, very balanced. So usually I'd advise having one side a little bit more committed fullback-wise, but that's obviously dependent on the system and the players that you have. Going forwards, a box-to-box on support, simply on round wide with the ball, because we have got a player cutting inside and being told to sit narrower on that left-hand side, so we almost need to replace that role. And also a ball in midfield player on support, on take fewer risks, and also dribble less. So to be honest, it's not the most risky midfield duo, and that's because we've actually got quite an attacking front four. On the right-hand side, we're going to have an inside forwards on support, on sit narrower, and the great thing about this is he also comes with fantastic default instructions. He's going to dribble more, he's going to take more risks, he's also going to be getting further forward. So for this system, I don't feel like he needs to be on attack, so therefore he isn't going to be. In the middle, we're going to go for a trek, simply on the default instructions. Again, very similar roles in terms of the inside forwards. He's got to dribble more on this occasion, move into channels, and roam from position. So he already does exactly what I want him to be doing. Therefore, we don't need anything else. Simple as that. And on the left-hand side, it's going to be exactly the same as the right-hand side. An inside forward on support, simply on sit narrower. And to finish it off, the advanced forward on attack, again, simply on the default. Now, if you've got a striker that has got ridiculous finishing, I would have shoot more often on, because I'm a big fan of that instruction, but just as a general rule, I don't know what team you're playing with, I've simply left it blank. Now, over to the team instructions. I'm going to quickly thank all of the names coming down the screen. These are going to be new or existing Patreon members. We've got over 600 people right now. That is right, it's grown by over 100 in the last week, so definitely you want to check it out, because clearly there's some good stuff on there. We've got over 8 perks, including access to all 3 of the tactics, early video release, early tactic release, you get one-on-one tactical help, you get priority in the tactics and the rebuild requests, you get access to the giveaways. There's so much, guys, honestly. Check it out, the link is going to be in the description. But the team instructions are going to be set about quite an intense playing style, not the max of the max, but you'll see what I mean. So we are going to go from playing out from the back, because that's key in modern day football, in my opinion. The directness, I'm going to go with shorter. I'm not going to go with much shorter today, because the default version especially is not designed to be a tiki-taka tactic at all. The tempo is going to be set to slightly higher, so not completely maxed out, but definitely working towards that way. Mixed crosses, my favourite option, and also be more expressive, because we definitely need that on, because we've got a lot of supportive roles in the team, so we need that little bit of a kick to get the players actually creating chances. Transition, and anybody that's played FM, you can see what's coming. It's a meta tactic, and obviously the meta instructions are going to be counter press and counter. We're going to take short goal kicks and play to anybody across the back line. Nice and simple. And now time for out of possession. We are simply going to go with the high press style of engagement, a higher defensive line, which I rarely use, but with this team, it worked really, really well. So we're going to stick it, and we are going to go with more often, and also prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Now, when I was saying to you guys about little tweaks you can make about going into, obviously, if you're playing as a real small team, I am going to have 2 more variants, so do stick around for the whole video, because then you can understand that part. And one of the real key changes is, if you are playing as a smaller team, drop that down to standard. That's what I've done with Palace in the Premier League, and obviously we got quite a good result. I have a couple of more dominant games though with this Bayern Munich team against the Manchester United side, obviously, who are not in the best shape in real life, let's just say that, but still in the game they are fairly decent. But in this game they got made to look like idiots, really, as we do win 3-0, obviously in a very comfortable game. Onana doing Onana things, just coming out and going, here's the goal, nice and simple, and the third goal coming in there, bit of a failed clearance to be honest, and Thomas Müller, who doesn't seem to age, picks up the final goal. I wasn't going to include this because there's already been a few highlights, but this again just shows how good we are against the best teams. A 4-1 win over Real Madrid, obviously in the Champions League, get off to a flying start there from a great set piece, win the ball back very early on there, Sane in behind, into Kane. And again, when you've got Kane in behind one-on-one, very similar to Haaland, you know it's going to be a goal. The guy does not miss. They do bounce back here, to be fair, with a goal fairly reasonably quickly after, as Valverde just absolutely levers it past Manuel Neuer. Not much we could really do to prevent that goal, but do you know what? This Bayern team, they just kept on grinding, kept on going through. A third goal comes in, a chip down the middle past Kepa, and just for injury, a little bit of salt in the wound. One more goal inside of 90 minutes into Guerreiro, and how about that for a finish? goal of the video. And now it's going to be time to go over the attack and variant. Now this can be used on 2 occasions to go into a game against a really weak team, or to be switched to get a goal that you need for in the game. I want to say it's based off the gegenpress style and the positive mentality, so exactly the same as the default, because we make so many changes as you're already seeing in these instructions. So the advanced forward remains the same, the inside forward on the left goes to attack, on shoot more often, and also sit narrower. The middle remains the same, the right hand side now matches the left hand side still, inside forward, attack, shoot more often, sit narrower. Now I do want to say, if you haven't got a player that can shoot more often, as in he's just quick but can't shoot, don't have it on, it will be a waste. But I am basing this off the fact you've got wingers that have got at least sort of 12 finishing. If you've got that on, that's completely fine. The 2 in midfield are going to change slightly. The box-to-box on the left is going to be on support, but now it's going to be on move into channels and get further forwards, alongside of that default run wide with the ball. And this essentially is to get him a lot more involved. And next to him, the ball in the midfield player does go, say goodbye to him, as we bring in a central midfield player on support, simply on take more risks. So a bit more of a risky midfield, but that's the way we're trying to play. We're trying to chase goals. And the wing backs, again, they are going to simply be the same. I didn't really feel the need to change them because I don't want both of them going further forwards, because look at the changes we made up here. It's already very attacking. And that's going to be your changes for the attack and variant. But let's go over to the team instructions. So there are going to be a couple of changes coming in with obviously the team instructions. The real change is going to be this right here, the overlap left and the overlap right. Now, the reason why there's not many more changes going on is because I don't want to transform the way we play by simply just running at defense, because that just makes us pretty much just get the ball, fly at them. Now, I'm not trying to do that necessarily, so there's no reason to have it on, but just having the overlap options really is going to help, especially get the fullbacks involved. In transition, one simple change, I won't waste your time, that is simply going to be distribute quickly, out of possession, and something we've got to discuss, because this comes down to how confident you're feeling with your team. If you are chasing a game, as in you need a goal desperately, stick with the much higher defensive line, because this is literally going to maximise your chances of getting a goal. If you're going into a game with this tactic, just keep the higher defensive line. So this really depends on the situation you're in, which is why I always encourage people to watch the videos as well as just get the tactics and go, because I obviously can't explain everything in a text file, for example. So that is literally game dependent. So I will make that very clear. More often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution and also get stuck in. We're really taking the game to them. Now over to the defensive variant slash the underdog variant. I used this tactic the entire time at Palace, just to clarify that, and also a little bit to sort of settle myself in to that Shrewsbury save. Now, I will say this is going to look a little bit more negative than obviously the default and the attacking, but it is designed to do one of two things: play with underdogs or grind out results. So let's get right into it. The advanced forward is going to remain pretty much on the default with one additional instruction, simply on pass it shorter. The inside forward is going to be on the default, but with two additional instructions of sit narrower and pass it shorter, and the right hand side matches that down to a T. In the middle, we say goodbye to the trek and bring an advanced playmaker on support, on pass it shorter and hold up ball. Now you're probably seeing a pattern. If you haven't, I'll tell you in about 20 seconds as we go over the midfield pairing of a box-to-box on the default on simply pass it shorter, on support, and a ball in the midfield player comes in, not on support but on defend, on pass it shorter. Have you figured out the trend? I reckon you probably have. All of these players are going to be on pass it shorter. Now, the logic behind this is to control games. This will give you outrageous amounts of possession. Are you going to score lots of goals? No. But it is a very good way of playing football to frustrate the big teams, as we saw Palace v Man City. You simply just pass the ball around, they use a ton of energy, and then what I usually do is around the sort of 60th, 70th minute, when they've been chasing me the whole game, is to take off a few of these pass it shorters and go a little bit more direct and get the killer goal. And that is really the logic behind this way of football. The wing back on the right is simply going to be on auto, on run wide. These two, the default, the keeper, the default, and the wing back on the left, again, matching the right hand side, simply on run wide on automatic. They're going to be your player instructions. Let's see the team. So again, it's going to remain the same, a gegenpress on positive. That is never changed across all three of the variants because it's not really needed to. Playing this on balance would be really not a good idea in my opinion. I will say that right now. As you can see, it's very different. So we're still going to play it from the back On this occasion, much shorter, a slightly lower tempo, and dribble less. Now, you can probably already tell what we're doing here. This is now really going to maximise possession. Dribble less is ideal for this because you're not going to run at the back line at all. You're simply just going to pass it side to side, have great levels of possession, and hopefully drain the life out your opposition. In the middle, we're going to have, or in transition, not in the middle, we're going to have counter press, slow the pace down, distribute to the fullbacks and the centre-backs, while taking short goal kicks. So the real only change here, well, the two changes obviously is going to slow the pace down, but also when possession has been won, we're not going to directly fly at the opposition because they can win the ball back and come back at us. We're simply going to leave it unselected. Now, lastly, the out of possession tab, we're going to have the standard line, the high pressing line of engagement more often, and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. And that is going to give you guys 3 of the best variants of the current 4-2-3-1 meta. Now, obviously, I'm going to get as many of these done before that winter update, then I might have to remake them if, you know, I feel like something's better, but these are genuinely what I feel are the best at the moment 4-2-3-1s or any tactic you see titled as a meta. If you guys sort of like this series, please do leave a like. If this video gets to 70 likes, I'll be sure to do another formation. Please do subscribe as well, but enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. If you guys did enjoy today's video, here are going to be a couple more videos I'm sure you're going to love. Down here, you're going to see my previous video, and here is going to be a video I personally recommend for you guys to check out. Trust me, you're going to love it.